Hey, it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio. Here today we're going to talk about pedal steel bends. Now, this kind of technique is usually used in country. That's where we usually think of it. But many rock players, including Slash, use this technique. So you can use this in a wide variety of styles, and it sounds great. So it takes a bit of practice, and ideally you want a hardtail guitar. So the reason why I'm playing the Telecaster today is because it's hardtail. My Strat, anything like Super Strat that I have with Floyd Rose, doesn't really work well because when you try to do these bends, it'll bend. You have to bend one note and then play another note without bending it at the same time. And when you do that, it just tends to take that other note out of tune because of the floating bridge. So if you have an electric guitar, ideally with a hardtail bridge, it's going to be easier to work on this. So let's just jump right in. Let's take a listen to the actual piece we're going to learn, and then I will go through and show you how to play it. Alright, so now that we've heard the piece, let's just jump right in and talk about this technique. So pedal steel bends really originate on pedal steel guitars, which are usually played flat, and they have pedals on them that bend strings. So in order to sort of copy that, I don't even know who started this, I'd have to look into it, but what you'll find players doing is actually taking a note and bending it, while playing another note without bending, okay? And so if I do this note here is bent, well, the other note in the first string is not bent. And you can hear it done separately, also together. And obviously that wasn't perfectly in tune, but both of those techniques are good to work on. So I try to give you the most common bends here today. And if your fingers as you work through this, they might get sore, so take your time with this. It took me a long time to get comfortable doing this kind of stuff. But really it just takes a bit of practice. You might not even be able to get the bend on in key right away. And I also find the best way to work with this is having some kind of backing track or a loop pedal, because by itself, I can get it close to in tune, but when you have a chord behind it, it's a lot easier to hear if your note's in tune, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is bend the 10th fret on string number 2, a full tone, so it should sound like the 12th fret. And the first chord I played was a G, so I'm trying to bend up to that note, the B note from the G chord. My pinky finger is going to grab onto the 10th fret on string number 1, which is a D note. So those are two notes from the G chord. So you want to hold them at the same time. Bend, or pick, bend, grab that note with your pinky, and then when we're at the top there, the bend, we're going to bring it back down. And then we're going to play the 8th fret on string number 2. Which is our root note, and then 9th fret string 3, back to 8th fret string number 2. Very classic country style bend. I said Slash uses this. The Sweet Child of Mine solo has this all over it. I should say the riffs or phrases from that song. Same kind of timing here, but we're going to the 3rd string, 9th fret. And we're going to do this over a D chord, so we're going to bend an E note to an F sharp. Grab on to the 10th fret string number 2, which is an A. So it's the same thing as from the D chord. So the 9th fret bent up, a full tone should sound like 11. So you can practice that. 11. So we're going to bend it up. Pick this note and then return back to 7, and then 9 on the 4th string, back to 7. This is our root note. And I think on the recording I might have done just instead of going back to the root, okay? Just to make it easier, because we have to jump up to 15 now on the 1st and 2nd string. So same phrase as we did to start off, 15 bend, and grab on to the 15th fret on string number 1. And this goes over a C chord, so we're bending the D to an E, grabbing the G note. So E and G are in that chord. So I go back to 13 on string number 2, to the 14th fret, string number 3, and then we're going to grab the 3rd string on the 14th fret with our ring finger. This is the hard one. This one might take quite a while to get. 15th fret on string number 2, we're going to hold that there. And we're going to bend this at the same time while we hold this stationary. That's the hardest part. So we're going to play both of them. And so this can be hard to get fully in tune. Keeping that one, without bending that note, I should say. So we have. All right, and that over there is over the G chord. So we're bending this note, the A note, up to a B, and playing the D. So that's part of the chord. All right, so we're going to repeat the same phrases again from the start. So the second time around, the first 2 chords are the same. G, D. But instead of going to C, it's going to go to F. And then C. So we're going to bend, for the F chord, the 12th fret on string number 3. And then hold that 13th fret, string number 2. And then we're going to go down to 7 and 8 using our ring and pinky. And you see, I'm using my fingers. I should have pointed that out earlier. They're all helping to bend. I couldn't do it just with one finger. That's just, to me, that's almost impossible. To use just a ring finger to bend that? No, can't do it. So I have to use 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Keep that in mind. I haven't seen many players that can bend without using some help for this kind of stuff. So, don't try to say go against the grain. Just try it out. Try to work your fingers together, like make them work as a team. That's over a C chord, okay? So over the G, over the D, C, back to G. That's better, okay, there we go. G again, D, over the F, and C to finish off, okay? So as you work through this, part of this, if you have never done this before, you're probably going to start working on this, be like, oh, this is so hard, it's tough. You got to stick with it, okay? You got to keep practicing. Don't overdo it, so don't hurt your fingers in the process. Do it like one step at a time. If you feel any pain in your fingers, stop. Come back to it. You need to build the strength up. You need to be able to hold that bend while you grab another note, so that's quite a bit of work. And then from there, slowly build into this. And so once you get into it, you'll start to see the patterns of where I'm sort of visualizing these chords. So once you get it going for you, the first bend I did, the root note is right here on the 5th string. So when I look at it, I see 10th fret, string number 5. I know that's like a G. So I can bend the 10th fret, string number 2. So I know that's where my chord is. And the second bend, pinky finger on string number 6, 10th fret, where the pinky finger is on string number 2. That's easier for me to look at and visualize it. So I have these like chord shapes and pentatonic scales that work with it. It's a very country-esque sound, right? Now, if you add a lot of gain onto it, though, you can really get the... Take off your tone a little bit. Think of like the... So later on he does this one too. So it's pretty cool to check out. It's not just in country, so even if you're not a fan of country, I got into this kind of stuff without even being, knowing anything about country or what a pedal steel was. I just like the sound of that kind of bend. And I use this all the time in any style of music. It doesn't have to be country, but it has a really cool sound. On the Telecaster, it sounds way more country for sure. So any questions, let me know. All students here get access to the premium materials, PDF, recording, all that kind of stuff. Plus, if you have questions, you can feel free to ask me on the student account. Just send me a note. I'm more than happy to help you. But anyone else, if you enjoy this, please subscribe so you can get more lessons each week, and I hope to see you soon.